I'm Alan Moore. I'm the founder of an engagement marketing consultancy called SML. I'm the co-author of a book called Communities Dominates Brands, and more recently a book called Social Media Marketing.
I'm Andrew Grill. I'm the editor and founder of LondonCalling.mobi, which is a mobile advertising website focused clearly on mobile advertising, and I'm based in London.
Hey, my name is Robert Rice. I'm the CEO of Neogens Enterprises and the author of MMO Evolution, and I'm a critic of every venture capitalist and non-innovating big company that's out there.
My name is Jamais Cascio. I am a professional futurist and writer. I work out of Northern California, San Francisco area, and I focus on essentially that intersection of environment and technology and culture to try to figure out what are the kinds of big trends that are helping us reshape the world.
I'm Joe Pine, co-author of The Experience Economy and Authenticity, and author of Mass Customization.
Howard Rheingold. I've been a writer about technology and society for a broad audience, not for a technical audience, for a long time, and I just happened into cyberspace when it got started. So I've followed people communicating online and mobile communication for a while, but of course the technology has changed since I started out as a writer with a technology known as a typewriter that many people may not remember, and a telephone and a library card. But with the advent of the digital computer and digital networks, then the tools available to amplify my capabilities to think, to gather information, and to communicate really has expanded my repertoire beyond just the written word. So I do a lot of things online and video and virtual communities.
What brought you to Amsterdam on the sunny June?
Yeah. Well, I was very fortunate to be invited to speak at MoMo 11 by Yuri, and we actually met in November last year in Estonia. And he heard me present and thought that I had a good story, and he asked me if I'd retell that story or amplify that today, which I was happy to do.
I was invited to come and talk about augmented reality and kind of what's going on in the industry and where the future of media is going, and here I am, and it was very, very exciting.
Well, I've done a lot of writing around mobile technologies and around sort of the bigger picture of how technologies integrate into our societies. And so I was invited to speak here as part of this celebration version of Mobile Monday because I could bring a bigger picture idea, some bigger picture focus.
Of course, the first thing was I was invited, and as a guest it's always polite to say yes, but I love coming to Amsterdam. I think people here are very hungry and very geared up for thinking about this new world that we're in. And also there was a great lineup on the stage today, and the fact that I could be here with Howard and with Robert and Jamais and everybody else was an opportunity not to be missed, to be honest with you.
To talk about my latest ideas that go beyond that, to look at how digital technology is really infusing experiences in a new and different way that allows us to truly create new and wondrous experiences that have never before been possible by fusing together basically the virtual and the real.
What was the highlight for you today?
There were a couple of highlights. The lovely city of Amsterdam, the people and the hosts here were spectacular. The guest speakers were just phenomenal, and of course the whole there's a very strong and interesting vibe here among the technical community, and it was just the whole thing was just awesome. The venue was spectacular, and everybody was very active and interested in what's going on. So it was awesome.
The highlight was one, seeing the reaction of people to what I was talking about, seeing that they're talking to people afterwards, and one guy told me that his business was inspired by the concepts that I'm talking about. And the other was hearing Robert Rice talk about augmented reality and the new platform that he's creating for it.
I think it's rare for me to sit for such a long period of time and learn. I've done an enormous amount of reading and research over my life, particularly in the last 10 years. But to listen to every single speaker, they had something of real interest to say. But more importantly, I think the curation that MoMo did in terms of bringing those speakers together, you could see a kind of interlocking theme or theory that if you step back and thought about what everyone was saying, was a really beautiful picture into the world that we could be part of.
400 people on a public holiday in Amsterdam, all passionate and focused on mobile, was the highlight for me.
What kind of feedback did you get on your presentation?
A little bit of spoken feedback, but most of the feedback I saw was actually via Twitter. And I think the simplest explanation of what that feedback looked like is in the 10 minutes after I finished my presentation, I suddenly had 50 new Twitter followers. So I think that means that the feedback was probably positive.
There was a lot of yawning at first. No. It was great. I've got a lot of questions about, where things are going, where the problems are, where the opportunities. There were several students that were finishing up, their degrees or research papers that wanted some input or feedback. And then, of course, it's been a great networking opportunity. Other companies are coming up. Oh, let's collaborate. Let's talk about this, talk about that. So, yeah, it's phenomenal.